Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We had to postpone one class, which is a shame. Again, I will say this again and again. But finally, we are back to the saddle. Can I say so, teacher? Back to the horse.
Saga, yeah, back to the saga.
But the saga. Okay, so but no, I mean like a cowboy. So back to the saddle
back,
or the
back in the saddle. Yeah, back in the saddle again. Yeah.
Okay, so we're back in the saddle again, and we can continue, right? We have two chapters today, 5 and 6, and it's Honorverse. What is the name of the book? What do you remember?
Honor of the Queen.
Honor to the Queen, no? Oh, of the Queen. Okay,
I will
learn. Once I will learn. So give me some time. Okay, let's start with characters. Whoa, help me, please.
Metzinger.
Medina. Yes. Medina Joss, Lieutenant.
We know him, right? Let's mention only new ones, right? Or do you think it's a new one?
That's a new one, I think.
Okay, sorry. Communication officer, right? On the new HMS Fearless.
Prestige, I think. Change.
Where is it? I don't see.
Higgins.
Higgins?
Mm-hmm. Prestige.
Prestwick at the bottom, number 9.
Prestwick. How do you pronounce it? Chancellor?
Chancellor.
And Chancellor, it's what German have, right? Teacher has.
It might be. It's like a high government position.
But this lady, Sergey, what was the name of this German lady?
Angela Merkel.
Angela Merkel. Is a chancellor?
Chancellor.
Chancellor. Is it the same or not same? I don't know. But chancellor maybe in Russian. How it's? Teacher, do you know the title of this lady, German lady?
She wasn't a prime minister. I don't remember what they called her. Yeah.
Yes, they call it in Russian. They call it very similar to chancellor. So
okay, it might be. Yeah, it might be.
Okay, so
the chancellor sound like French.
A little bit French, I have to agree. Yeah, but I mean that this title still exists, right, in real life. So chancellor, high positioned guy, right, the ruling member.
Yeah, I just looked up leaders of Germany, and they have 2 houses led by a chancellor, which is like a prime minister. So you're right; they called her chancellor.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we remember Yanakov, right? Old veteran, right? Old admiral who is surprised how young everyone, how young is everyone. Okay, Andrew Jason, his assistant, Brentworth, a member of Grayson Navy. Whoa, can you remember me? Who is Brentworth? Why we know him?
This new?
Brentford is new?
Yeah, he's kind of new. He's just one of the diplomatic party that meet. So Yanikoff and Brentworth are meeting Courvoisier. So they're just high-level players in the meeting. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the politics. Directly straight into politics, right? Okay, so let's start with number 1 and then go further. I prepared it today.
Getting better.
Thank you. Shaima, please cover the number 1.
Okay, number 1. Upon arriving in orbit in the Grayson system, describe what Honor sees in the space about the planet and what she notes about the planet itself. Yeah, Honor studied that the surrounding space and is awed by myriad orbital structures floating there. Upon closer inspection, many of them are huge orbiting farms with cows and crops. And construction is going on everywhere. with bustling workers using primitive tools, and numerous bulk carriers and processing ships are moving to and fro like a busy beehive. And then the sheer energy of the Grayson workers is amazing. And she is puzzled to see that their orbiting power plants are using deadly nuclear fission plants instead of safe nuclear fusion plants. And their colony ship had been a fusion reactor powered. And after that, she wondered how is the beautifulness of the planet, but instead it's an poisonous place for humans, and the soil itself is made to be decontaminated because it has heavy elements such as and with sources like cadmium and like mercury planet. So a human can't live in a toxic environment like a Grayson planet, although it's a beautifulness.
Okay, so it's beauty, but it's deadly, right? Can I say deadly?
Yeah, beautiful but deadly. Yeah.
Okay, so femini fatale, right?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
Actually,
very good.
Actually, why is this? You know, how we call it? Heavy elements, right? Why they are mostly dangerous to human bodies? Do you know?
We have the same thing in America. If you get lead in your body, you know, lead pipes. We used to have lead pipes in America.
Mm-hmm.
And we found out that the lead got in your body and it actually started poisoning your body. Your body cells would die. Mercury, the liquid from thermometers, liquid mercury for thermometers. We found out that if you break the glass and mercury gets on your skin, you absorb it through your skin, and mercury is toxic. So any metal that gets in your body stays in your body. It doesn't come out of your body like other stuff. You can pee out some of it and poo out some of it, but a lot of it stays in your body and it just slowly poisons your body. So we don't have lead pipes in America anymore. We have plastic pipes. The reason is lead poisoning.
We still have lead buckets somehow, I don't know, for transfer of water or something. Oh. Sergey, when you was young, were you told to eat more apples because they have iron inside? Something.
Yes, and I know about the stereotypes, and my mother and my grandmother told me, please eat apples, because apples has a lot of ferrum.
Ferrum, ferrum inside. Yeah. Shaima, have you cut the apple and then, you know, in a few moments apple got kind of darker, right? Have you seen this? Yeah. Do you know why?
Because there is I can translate only.
we just said the mineral is ferrum, right? Kind of iron or metal.
Iron, yeah.
We call it iron. The Latin word is ferrum, but in English we call it iron.
Okay. So some metals are useful, but some are deadly, right?
Correct. Yeah. Mercury is a factory waste product, and some plants dump mercury into the river illegally, and it gets into fish. And if you eat those fish, you'll get mercury poisoning.
Exactly. I remember that I was told never eat fish from the river in Vietnam and in China because they, you know, pollute the rivers.
Yeah.
Sergey,
sorry,
go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to add that in my childhood, we broke lead battery, and we take lead parts and we melted it, and we made some figures from this.
It's kind of iron cast, right? Usually, how we call it, casting.
Yeah, molded lead or casted lead figures. That's okay if you play with it a little bit, but if you play with it for like 3 or 4 years, you might actually get lead poisoning from lead atoms getting in your fingers. We used to paint toys over here with the lead paint. The paint that we paint toys with used to have lead in the paint. And kids would, kids chew on toys. And they got lead poisoning. So we don't allow lead paint for children's toys anymore.
I remember when I was young, mercury was not, probably it was known that mercury is kind of dangerous, but probably we ignore this or something. So it was my favorite, entertainment, to break some thermometer and play with mercury.
Wow, really? Okay, good. There's a theory that the Roman Empire failed because the government officials, the high officials, the intelligentsia used to drink wine from lead goblets. And over many years, the lead damaged their brain abilities, and they became kind of a little bit dumber and dumber. That's a theory.
I don't believe this, because what I see, it's usually the rule, right? Or not exceptions, that these rules are dumber and dumber every year. So it doesn't destroy any empires so far.
Maybe we have more and more mercury and lead everywhere.
Okay, so we understand, right? We understand that some minerals can be dangerous for human bodies, right? So that's why Grayson system kind of puts the production outside, right? Farms, something else, I don't remember, crops, right? And they are kind of retarded. I don't know, can I say so? Retarded in technology, so they use previous generation of nuclear station. Right.
Yeah, remember that they were kind of anti-technology, so they didn't continue developing technology like Manticore did.
Okay.
They stayed where they were, and they never really developed any fancy tools.
Okay, it was a first impression of Honor about Grayson system, right? Let's go to the next one. What Grayson system thinks about Honor? It brings us to number 2. Sergey, would you like to cover it?
Yeah, and when Admiral Yanakov arrived in Fairless, he was surprised because he saw a lot of children, but he didn't understand what's happened. Where is grown up? And I don't understand what's happened. But after a few minutes, he understood that the Manticoran had prolonged technology, and they looked younger than Grayson citizen. And maybe those people have the similar age like Yanakov. But next impression was when he wanted to say hello in official word, obviously, but he didn't understand who is the head, because they looked as children. Who is the head of child?
Who's in charge, right? Who's in charge in this kindergarten?
Yeah. Usually the oldest person's in charge, but they're all young.
When I read this part, and I was surprised, and I imagined this situation when I saw the younger people, and it looks strange for me. It would look strange for me. And next, he say hello to Courvoisier, Admiral Courvoisier, and Obviously, Courvoisier looked younger than Yanakov, but when Courvoisier say some words, he understands that they have the similar age because voice sounds looks Yanakov.
Yeah.
Next,
is Yanakov a Russian name?
yeah, maybe
Okay.
Bulgarian.
Something Slavic, yeah, something Slavic, not Russian exactly, something Slavic.
Okay.
Yanakov, it looks strange for Russian hair.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so age of the crew, right, is the first impression. What else?
The first, what?
So age of the crew, right? So what's the first impression?
And the next comparison, voice and appearance, voice and looking.
Yeah, we understood this, Sergey. I mean that there was another like thought about. Yeah.
And the last impression and the what was frustrated Yanakov was when he met Honor, because he was smaller than Honor. it's the first moment, but and he lost ability to speaking speaking, because when you live all your life without women in the flat, in the army, and you meet women, and when Courvoisier told it's a Honor, it's a head of Fearless, Yanakov lost his mind and lost his voice, and he frozen, and he was thinking, what I have speak, and I can speak, but I have to speak because I understood that we have a different understanding about tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably we discussed it before, right? So we discussed that Manticorian, they send a list of names beforehand. Looks like this trick did not work, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think that good word to describe his kind of behavior is get numb, right, actually? So when you cannot speak, is it or stuck or something? How would you describe when you surprised so much that you cannot talk?
We say dumbstruck.
Dumbstruck. Okay.
Or dumbfounded. Both of them the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you went to see the Microsoft CEO, and when you went into his office, a 10-year-old kid was sitting behind the desk. You know, your mind and your eyes are like, what? I got to talk to this little kid, you know?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Also, I remember there was another thing that Sergey did not mention. It was kind of advanced technologies, right? So Yanakov was surprised that everything like so huge, so, you know, shiny and posh and modern. So he felt like envy, right, to all this technology.
Yeah, they had holograms and, you know, stuff like that in the air. It's like, wow, you can rotate it and zoom in on it. And they probably have little, you know, monitors, computer monitor screens, and he sees all this 3-dimensional projection in space, and it's like, wow, new toys.
Yeah, I can imagine. His surprise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Shaima, would you like to?
Okay. Describe the conversation between Havenet, Ambassador Masterman, and his aide, Captain Michel. Yeah. The discussion at the arrival of the Manticoran delegation, and Michel is shocked and dismayed to learn that a Manticoran would send Harrington itself, who gave Haven a black eye in a basilisk system, and who hate heaven and all it represents. But Ambassador Masterman is thinking differently. he think about the cleverness of Harrington in as a murderer woman, and yeah, that it wasn't just a female officer or a personnel who has been sent to Grayson, but she was weaponized to alienate the Graysons, and she is not only a high-ranking female military officer, but also a deranged one who was convicted in court on heaven, albeit in absentia, as a mass murderer who callously destroyed a merchant ship in Basilic system. So she was awarded the Manticoran Cross for bravery and honor fire. Not anyone, but Harrington will respect their conservative culture and will ask help from her exo-Venuses to be in front of them.
Okay. So they figured she's a woman, so that medal, she didn't really earn it. It was given to her to make her feel better, you know. That's how Grayson would look at it. So they were going to weaponize her. You're correct. That's a good way to say it. They're going to weaponize her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Anything else, teacher Lee, we should mention?
No, she covered everything.
Yeah, great. Okay, number 4. Sergey, help us to understand what was the incident.
The incident when Venizelos was showing the technology of hologram and the high screen. This moment he was ahead of Fairless because Harrington delegated some moments for demonstrate because she understood that it would be better than if she explained it. And Venizelos showed, and some guy from Yanakov team asked some moments about additional screens. And Venizelos asked Harrington, please, ma'am, can we show this device for our guest? And the whole team of Yanakov frozen, and they Admiral Yanakov saw to Harrington, and Harrington told yes. And next Venizelos started to show, and one moment Harrington wanted to explain something to Yanakov, and this moment the guys stay in front of Honor, and he had a problem for explanation, and Yanakov, Venizelos, and Harrington understood the moment. All team, all heads understood this ridiculous moment, except this guy. And Yanakov interrupt this guy, and next Harrington continued to explain without emotions, without problems. But anyway, Yanakov saw the emotions from Venizelos. Venizelos has hate eyes to this guy.
Yeah.
And this moment explains the differently between negotiations, tradition, these two civilizations.
Good.
Yes. So the incident, in 2 words, was that kind of honor was not taken into account, right? They tried to, one guy tried to just, I don't know what the word was, urge her out of away from hologram, as far as I understand.
Yeah, just basically just pushed her out of the way. You know, I got something more important than you. You move away, let me get in here. And even though she was talking to Yannikov, he just butted in between and kind of pushed her out of the way a little bit. And everyone's like, what the hell? But nobody said anything.
Yeah.
What do we do? You know, so Yannikov was thinking, should I chew this guy out in front of her? Or should I chew him out later in private? What will she think? What will the other Manticore people think? So he wasn't sure what to do. She chose to do nothing. Venizelos was angry that nobody did anything. Yeah.
But, you know, it's not a kind of a fiction kind of scene. I have seen that many times in my life. So once in one company, I had to kind of, what's the word for this, moderate, or how we call it, facilitate some meetings. And after a few weeks, one lady told me, Ivan, have you noticed that when I speak, you know, everyone try to interrupt me? So,
yeah.
And I started to pay attention to this, and I found that really, when she started to talk, other men in this meeting, they were not tend to hear her to the end, listen to her, right? So they tend to interrupt her and kind of give their opinion. So,
yeah. We call that talking over someone. They start to talk, and then you start talking and kind of cut them off, and you keep talking. We call that talking over someone. It's very rude, but it's a subtle kind of discrimination. Yeah.
Yeah, and I found that before she told me, I have not noticed this. But later, I kind of had to make special measures, you know, to prevent this.
Yeah, you know, just a moment. She was speaking. Let her finish, you know, kind of an interruption. Let her finish what she was saying. You got to kind of take control or it won't stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually made jokes like, you know, you interrupted her, so now she has to interrupt you. Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So something alike happened to Honor during this demonstration, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, number 5. Vova, can you help us with number 5? You partially covered it, I think.
No, this is a little different.
Okay. Vova, can you also?
Later, after the incident, what concerns does Admiral Yannikov face with Benjamin Mayhew?
Mayhew. Yep, Mayhew.
The planetary projector of Grayson. Protector. Admiral Yannikov didn't like the Manticore, and he insists that Manticore should live, and that Manticore is not a friend, and Manticore allies Grayson just for her own, their own
benefits, right?
Yes. And Grayson's like a
buffer zone. Okay. I'm not sure that it's the right answer. Maybe because I a bit forgot this conversation. What it was about? So I remember. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember that they definitely spoke about the reason that we are not friends. We are just, you know, a tool. As far as Mossad, a tool for having it. That I remember, but I don't think that is this question about this issue.
Well, the answer I posted my answer in the chat area. If you want to read that, you're welcome to.
With me. Okay, so Yannikov explains to Benjamin that many of his officers are repulsed and disgusted by seeing Manticoran woman in the delegation. They are appalled by it and figure that she has to be incompetent. He's not sure that his troops and Grayson politicians in general are prepared for this assault to their society's traditions. Yeah, so it's again about genders, right?
Yeah. So he said, my officers don't like it. Don't like taking orders from a woman, or don't like seeing a woman give orders. My officers hate that. My officers are angry about it. You know, it's like, how can they do that in their society? So there's a lot of bad feelings towards Manticore for making women, you know, fight in the military against their will. They can't know what they're doing. They're just women, you know. And he's saying, my officers are all biased against them. And I don't think I can change my officers' thinking. We need to stop this. This is not good for us. Even Grayson people, society, civilians, they're worse than my officers are. They're not going to accept it either.
Well, I kind of can understand this, right? So let's imagine that our Ellie, I don't know, eat babies for the breakfast, right? So it's something that's hard to accept. And even if you say a high position person can understand this, you know, because of balance of interest and everything. But what kind of officer, middle officers and civilians, what they say? They say, who are your allies, right? Look at this. Why are you doing this? I can understand.
Yeah. So he's thinking this is not going to work. Benjamin, this is not going to work.
Okay.
Okay.
And we know that Benjamin had another opinion, right?
Yep.
Shaima, can you cover his opinion upon this? Yeah, please.
Yeah. Benjamin seems unaffected by Yannikov's doubts and worries. He shows his modernism mind more than Yannikov. Yannikov tell him that Harrington, he told Yannikov that Harrington earned her Manticoran cross for her bravery under fire in the basilisk system, and he told him that Manticoran cross is equivalent to their very own star of Grayson, high market award, and which shocked Yannikov. And Benjamin tried to increase his shock by mention that middle if she has a middle, a gemic middle, it will be just a propaganda to cover what really happened. Her panicked, and she maybe in her monthly ill, or maybe anything else, just for to try to persuade that she is she has the fashion, and she is not any woman.
Mm-hmm. Don't know how to summarize this, actually.
so he knew that Haven calling her a murderer and all that was propaganda. Don't believe it. Mm-hmm. He knew that she was competent because she earned Manticore's highest medal for bravery and valor. So he said she must have done something good because they gave her the highest honor in their military. So he's saying she's got to be good, and Haven's lying about her. So he's saying, don't believe all that stuff. These are good people. And yeah, they let women do men's jobs, but on Grayson, because we'll learn later that Grayson need to use their women more effectively than they are now. So Benjamin's thinking, if we see all these women doing things that men can do, we might change our mindset and let women do more things in our society, and that may help us overall. Yeah. So Mayhew's looking towards the long view. He's looking into the future. And he's saying we need to learn to let our women participate in society more like Manticore does. And that'll help us, you know, over the next 100 years, that will benefit our society. So he's taken the long view, and he sees interfacing with Manticore and their women in society will be a benefit in the long term. In the short term, it'll make a lot of people upset and angry. But he's more patient and more long-term viewing. So he says, don't worry about it. It's going to be good for us in the long run.
Yeah,
it'll be painful in the short term.
I have a joke about it. Do you remember once we did a movie Casablanca, and there was a line, you know, it looks like a beginning of a wonderful friendship. So
exactly. Okay. He sees it as the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the politics again. So political power and authority. Sergey, can you cover this?
I'm afraid that no, because I didn't understand this moment. But
okay, so just a few questions then, right? And then we will ask Shaima to help you. So who is planetary protector? What is his job?
In my opinion, he looks like an emperor, but emperor with a democracy part, because they have a parliament and two parties, conservative and maybe liberal, I don't know. And now the planetary protector has a little bit advantage above conservative party, and that's why he has to find the way between two parties, between traditional and between liberal, between technical progress and between some point of views the citizens. I think it's a difficult because the planetary protector and Yanakov and a lot of heads of this planetary understood that they had to find some profits from Manticore and some profits from progress, because if they stop to make progress, they will have the problem when heaven started to attack Manticore, because Grayson is the point between Manticore and heaven. And like I forgot the
Masada and Grayson.
No. I forgot the phrases when you stay between two big guys.
Buffer zone, right? Buffer
zone. You between drum and
between a stone, rock, and hard place.
Right? Yeah, between a rock and a hard place. Okay, yep.
Nice. Okay, I'm not sure. You know, I read this chapter a long time ago, so I can be wrong. But I remember that position of planetary protectors was kind of losing their authority and power. It's my impression.
Like Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth is the figurehead, the symbol of the leader of Britain. God save the Queen. But she has no political power. She's just a face, a pretty face that represents the government, but she has no power. The prime minister has the power. So on Grayson, the protector is the face of Grayson, like Queen Elizabeth, but he has no political power. There's a chancellor that has all the political power. So the chancellor is like the prime minister of Britain. He's got the power. So Benjamin's just a figurehead. He can say, I represent Grayson, but he's got to ask the chancellor and the council and parliament to approve his actions. He himself has no absolute authority.
Yeah. And again, my opinion is that it's totally correct what you're saying, but Queen Elizabeth, she had a lot of powers. I still think so. And I promised to post the article, but I forgot. Sorry.
She has influence, friends and influence. And Mayhew's like that too. He may have some friends in Parliament, some friends on the council, So, you know, but that's unofficial. You know, that's more politics and influence. You know, my family knows your family, those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sergey, did you like that?
Yeah, in Russia we have a term for planetary protectors for Elizabeth, for some people with previous ranks and title, like a wedding general.
Once more, please.
Wedding general.
Wedding general. Yeah. So, but you have to explain why wedding.
Because some people invited the previous general for making more impression for guests.
Okay.
Yeah. So
general didn't have some influence.
Yeah. So if I'd like to explain this, you know, there are some generals, they have a lot of medals, they have uniform, and people like to invite them to their weddings just to show, you know, I know a good person, you know, a powerful person. But they are not a real battle officers. So they not decide anything. They, you know, just a figure. Yeah. So that's why we call them wedding generals. So not for battle, but for showing off.
Okay. Yeah. Same idea. Yeah.
Okay, and the last one. Vova, could you start, please? And Shaima will help you in case of danger.
Describe Benjamin Mayhew hobby and how Admiral Yanakov feels about it. If I remember correct, Messi like to plant flowers. Plants.
Plant flowers. Okay, yes, plants.
And Yanakov, Admiral Yanakov thinks that it is not smart.
Not something that officers should do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Unmanly. We call it unmanly. It's not something a man should do. Yeah.
Shaima, what do you think about gardening? Can a man make, you know, gardening and raising plants and all those things?
Yeah, for sure.
But society, you know, society prevents us to do that. When I try to make my, you know, garden, they say, you know, not your job.
Yeah, I can't believe that any man or woman, whatever, can supposed to be interested in flowers and in nature.
Yeah. Okay.
The U.S. is like Grayson. Men over here, we don't care about growing flowers and roses, and we don't care about that. Women love to do it. Yeah.
But with Vova, we have our own balcony, right, Vova?
Yes.
And what we grow here? The radish and basil and many plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sergey, please.
Yeah, and I remember some Rome emperor who grown up cabbage, and he denied to continue to be as emperor because he didn't want to make some reform. And when some high position guy went to him and they invited to return, he answered him, please see my cabbage.
Yeah, I remember this. I believe it was Diocletian, Roman Imperial, no?
Diocletian, something like that.
Oh yeah, Diocletian. And I remember his answer was, you know, any fool can be an emperor of Roman pirates. No, nothing kind of heavy in this job. But try to make a good cabbages as I did. So
Okay.
Okay. So that's all for our 2 chapters. Shaima, how would you name them? So what kind of title can we write there?
Maybe New Mind.
New Mind.
Yeah, about his Yakov cousin. He is the man of new mind and the change in Grayson planet, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a word for this. Teacher, correct me if I'm wrong. Revelation or something. Yeah, right. You know, you found out something that you didn't expect.
Yeah,
Yep.
seems to be well educated and has another thought to in everything.
We a long time ago we had an expression: the East meets the West. And you can probably imagine in the Cold War what this means. The West is open and free. The East is closed and controlled, and Asians are mysterious because we don't know about the Chinese and the Japanese yet. So when East meets West, we use that to mean cultures came together and kind of clashed.
Yep. So kind of aliens, right? Kind of other planets. We see each other like, wow, people do this. Why? What are the reasons, right? So are they stupid? How possible it is?
And we used to have a saying: East is East and West is West, and never the two shall meet. We'll never agree on the other's ways or society. Yeah.
Oh, teacher Lee, thank you for this saying, and I have a question for Sergey. Sergey, why teacher Lee used shall there without will? So East is East, West is West, and they shall not meet.
I remember. I know that now we don't use shall, but shall looks like have to. But
shall is kind of a law. How we call it? Law obligation by law. In this
more authoritative. Yeah. You will do it. You shall do it. Yeah.
You shall not pass.
Okay, if we have the range shall, have to, must, or what?
Yeah, but shall is pretty strong, right? Shall is pretty strong, but it's more about kind of what kind of I understand about legal obligations or something. You know, you shall. Teacher Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. So you shall to pay your taxes, for instance.
Yeah. In fact, shall is used in legal documents a lot because it implies authority. You cannot say no if you shall do something. In Christianity, the 10 Commandments use shall. You shall not kill. You shall not do this. You shall not do that. The 10 Commandments use shall because God expects you to obey. Yeah.
Why we use shall in this rules instead must? You must not kill. Or
shall is a little bit more authoritative.
So it's kind of describe it to you by some authority, not because because of nature or something, because of I don't know culture.
Yeah, I mean shall and must mean the same thing, but shall is more formal, more high level, has more authority to it. Must, we must meet sometime. We must get together sometime. It's like we really ought to. Must can mean really ought to. We really should.
But nobody ordered this, right? There is no kind of a man who say you must meet, more often, right?
Exactly. Shall is written down somewhere in the rules.
Shaima, can I ask you then, what is the difference between must and have to?
In my opinion, have to is not an direct obligation, but there is to arouse his feeling of responsibility. You have to do your work on time, so he is responsible for this duty. But must, I think it's rules. You will be punished. maybe.
They're about the same. I would say must maybe a little bit stronger than have to, but the dictionaries don't distinguish. They mean the same thing.
Okay. So from the, say, most authoritative to the less authoritative advice, we have, let's say, must, shall, have to, then what? Should, right?
Well, the top is shall.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would say must or have to, must and
Mm-hmm.
have to.
And then probably
and then should or ought to. Those are like suggestions or opinions.
Actually, I don't see ought to very often. It's kind of
old fashioned. Yeah, we've gone to should more now.
Yeah, should is very very used, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for this explanation. Now I will use shall. We shall not. What? We shall not. I don't know. Miss the book classes anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, give me an example of must if you can.
No, not about that, but about the clash of civilizations. I think it's not necessary or not a fact, and we need the peace. So when we deal with the other as an enemy, it is the war, not the peace. So humans need peace. I think there is an misinterpretation for the religious scripts. In my Islamic side, I can say that women participated in even the war, in even the military tasks, but there is a misinterpretation now from conservative we call them not first. There is a religious man who try to spread a conservative and very strict interpretation for the religious script.
Yeah, so that's the problem with sacred books, right? You always have to interpret them in some way.
Yeah. And that's probably true of every religion. Yeah. In fact, Catholicism, the Catholics, that was the original Christian religion, and a lot of people disagreed with that, and that caused these other branches of Christianity to develop. We've got a lot in the U.S. We've got Baptists, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Mormons. They're all because they disagreed with the interpretation of the Catholics. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, as a homework for our group, I recalled another word, need to. So place need to on our scale somewhere.
Yeah. Need to is more physics. It's more physics or biology. I need to eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a requirement. You may not want to do it, but your body is required. We need to eat. We need to breathe air. So need is more, it's required by the circumstances for survival.
Yeah. So let me try to make an example. So I have to go means that my time is over, probably, right? I need to go means that I don't know. I need to drink water.
I need to go or my boss will fire me.
Yeah.
So it's not written, needs aren't written down necessarily, but if you don't do it, your body will suffer harm or damage.
I see. And I will grow cabbages after this, somewhere. Okay, thank you very much. Let's call it a day. Was an last conversation as always, and see you on the next day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, teacher.